Okay, on problem number 1, which of the following equations are linear? Number 1 is not linear because of x in the bottom. Number 2 is linear because the x and y follow the rules that for a linear function. Y equals 11. That is also linear. Remember, that's a line that goes straight across this way on a graph. And number 4 have exponents of 3 and 2, therefore they are not linear. Going to number 2. Identify the slope as 0, negative, positive, or undefined. On number 1, remember this is a 0 slope. This is a negative slope. This is a positive slope. And then this one is an undefined slope. Which of the following set of points have a slope of undefined? Now remember, when you have a slope that's undefined, if I were to draw a graph, you're going to have a slope that goes straight up and down. Well, in this case, that's going to be a function that has x equals, where the x's are the same. And if you look at this x and this x is different. An x-intercept of 4, that means that's going to be 4, 0, and a y-intercept of 0, negative 6. Of course, those x's are not the same. On C, these x's are the same, therefore that equation would be x equals 2. All right, so that is your answer on number 3. That slope would be undefined because the x's are the same. On number 4, which of the following equations are in the order of decreasing, horizontal, vertical, and increasing? All right, so we're going to have a negative slope. Horizontal slope, remember, that's going to look like just y equals a number. Vertical is going to be x equals a number, and increasing is going to be a positive slope. Well, the key elements that I see is this one right here. Well, if you notice, this one is y equals, y equals, y equals. This is going to be y equals, x equals. So that's the order I'm looking for. Well, it's not A. X equals comes first? No, I need x equals third. That's not it. This one here is y equals. There's my x equals in the third spot. And then, of course, let's look at this. So I have negative slope. This is a horizontal because that's y equals. X equals negative 8 is vertical. And this is a positive slope, and that's that's the one I'm looking for. So C, number 4, is my answer. Number 5, which of the following equations would have a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of negative 1? Well, if I were to just take that, I'd write y equals 3x and a y-intercept of 1. So let's look for an equation that's going to look like this. And if you notice, 3 has to be positive, the 1 has to be negative. Well, if I look at C, if I move y to the other side, that becomes a positive y. And if I move 1 to the other side, that becomes a negative 1. So I get 3x minus 1, which looks exactly like that. So C is my answer. Well, how do I know the other ones are not my answer? Well, on B, if I divide everything by 2, I end up getting y equals 3x plus 1. That's a 3. That's not the same because that's a minus 1. I'm looking for minus 1, and this is a plus 1. On this one, if I switch this around, I get negative 3x plus 1. That's not what I'm looking for because the slope is negative. I'm looking for a positive slope. And then on number 2, again, if I divide by 2, if you notice the slope right here, negative 3 over 2 doesn't reduce. So I know that that slope is not 3x. So that's not the answer. On number 6, there's a little problem with this one. If you notice on number 6, y is down here, x is here, so this is actually upside down. So I'm going to flip this, and the question is, which of the following x and y intercepts are appropriate here? Well, if you look here, here's my y-intercept, so that's going to be like 0, say maybe 2, 3, or 4. This right here is going to be a number, comma 0. So let's look at the combinations that we have and see what matches that. Alright, I have negative 2, 0. Alright, so that means my x-intercept would have to be a negative, and my y-intercept would have to be a negative. Well, if you notice that, these are both going to be positive. So my y-intercept right here, my y-intercept and my x-intercept are both going to be positive. So let's look for that and see if that's a clue. Alright, here we go. We know A is not going to be the answer because both of those are negative. This is a positive 2, so that could be correct, and this is a positive 3, that could be correct. So we'll keep that in mind. This has a positive 2 as your x-intercept. This is a negative 3 for your y-intercept, and that's not correct. That's not what we're looking for. And these are not y-intercepts at all. So, process of elimination, C is my answer. Which of the following is in proper standard form when A equals 2, B equals negative 5, and C equals 3? Now, hopefully y'all remember that the standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Now, when you have this, only thing you're doing is replacing the A, the B, and the C. So you're going to have 2x, B is negative 5, so negative 5y equals 3. And the one that looks like that is A. Okay, on number 8, you have 6 minus x over 4 equals 5. We know that 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. So that means whatever x over 4 is has to equal 1. Well, we know that 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. Therefore, x is equal to 4. That's a check and guess. That's one way of doing it. However, if you want to solve it mathematically, then one of the things you can do is this. You can write down the problem. Let me erase this real quick. So 6 minus x divided by 4 equals 5. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. 6 is gone. I'm left with negative x over 4 equals 5 minus 6 is negative 1. I'm then going to multiply each side by negative 4. The reason I'm going to do that is because I'm getting rid of the negative and the 4 at the same time. And I'm left with x equals negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4, and that's the same answer as I got for my guess and check. Okay, on number 9, what is the second step? What is the second step for solving this equation? Well, if you look at this equation, I'm going to minimize it just a little bit. If you look at it, I get negative 1.8 equals 2z minus 18 over 5. The first step in solving this is multiplying both sides by 5 to get rid of that fraction. And when you do that, I'm not going to multiply it. I'm just going to leave it right there. So I'm sorry. That's not negative 5, it's a positive 5. Alright, so I'm going to put 5 times negative 1.8 equals, the 5's cancel out, and you're left with 2z minus 18. Well, I want to get z by itself, so the second step is I got to add 18 to both sides. And that's what I'm looking for. The answer choice is A. Add 18 to both sides of the equation. Number 10. Alright, on number 10 it says simplify 81 to the 1/2 power. I hope you recall that 1/2 power means square root. So the square root of 81, that's an index of 2 and a power of 1. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 81 is 9. And then number 11, we need to simplify all three of these. Well, here's your exponent rules. Y to the 6th times y to the 2nd. You add the exponents. So you get y, 6 plus 2 is y to the 8th. On B, when you take a power to a power, you actually multiply the powers. So 2 times 6 is 12. So that's y to the 12th. And then y to the 6th over y to the 8th. When you divide like terms, you subtract the exponents. 6 minus 8 is negative 2. So this is y to the negative 2 power. However, if you recall, you can't have a negative exponent. So you have to do the reciprocal. And that's 1 over y squared. Another simple way of thinking about this is if you talk about a battle, who wins the battle? Well, in this case, the bottom one does by 2. And that's another way you can figure that out. Okay, on number 12, solve the equation C equals 1/2 times A plus B times D for D. Now you're going to have something similar like this on the semester exam. You got to be able to know how to get D by itself. So let me go ahead and minimize this. I'll rewrite the equation so you can see how to work it. You have C is equal to 1/2 times A plus B in parentheses times D. Now remember, we got to get D by itself, so we're going to get rid of the 1/2 and we're going to get rid of the A plus B. But we're going to do it in 2 steps. So hopefully y'all are watching. To get rid of the 1/2, I need to multiply both sides by 2. In that case, the 2 and the 1/2 cancel each other out. I'm left with 2C equals. I'm going to write down what I have left. A plus B is still in parentheses. I do not get rid of it. And then times D. This is a plus b times d. The way we get rid of things that are multiplied is we divide. So I'm going to divide by a plus b, keep it in parentheses on both sides. These cancel out, and in 2 steps I have d is equal to 2c over a plus b. And that's the answer to number 12. All right, let me go ahead and I'm going to minimize that. Push that off to the side. Now, let me go ahead and bring this one up. On number 13, which statement describes the solution of 6 minus 5x is less than negative 9? Now, hopefully you remember how to solve these. These problems, 6 minus 5x is less than negative 9, is just like an equation. This is just like an equal sign. All right, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6 is gone. I'm left with negative 5x is less than, now negative 6 minus 6 is negative 15. I'm then going to divide by negative 5, and the reason why I'm dividing is it's negative 5 times x. And how do you undo a multiplication? You divide. So if I divide by negative 5, remember, when you divide by a negative number, you flip the sign. So negative 15 divided by negative 5 is a positive 3. So I need all the x's that are greater than 3. So if you look here, the solutions are less than negative 3? Nope, that's not the answer. The solutions are greater than negative 3? No, they're greater than positive 3. That's not the answer. The solutions are greater than 3? There's my answer. So the answer choice of number 13 is C. On number 14, 15, 16, and 17, notice that they're all evaluate problems. So basically you're substituting the variables or the numbers in for the variables. So I'm going to minimize this here in a second, and I'm just going to put all the numbers in, and we're going to do them all at the same time. Okay, so here we go. Let me minimize this just a little bit, and you should have your review in front of you. Okay, here we go. 5. Now R in this case is 4 plus 2 plus 4, and then S is 3. That's going to be problem number 14. I've got to do the parentheses first. So this is an order of operations, PEMDAS, okay? 4 plus 2 is 6, so I get 5 times 6. Now, over here, this is 4 times 3. That's a 3. Sorry, it looks bad. But 4 times 3 is 12. I have to do order of operations first, so 5 times 6 is 30. So 30 plus 12 is 42. That's the answer to number 14. Number 15, what is the solution set of 5y greater than 9y plus 16? So this is just like number 13. So if I have 5y is greater than or equal to 9y plus 16. Well, in this case, I got to get my y's together. So I'm going to subtract 9y from both sides. So I'm going to go minus 9y here. And what I end up getting, that 9y is gone. I'm left with 16 on this side. And then 5 minus 9y is a negative 4y. Now here's the rule. Remember, I'm going to divide by negative 4 on both sides. So that those 4's are canceled out, and I get y equals. Because I divided by a negative, I'm going to switch the sign, and 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. So I need all the y's that are less than or equal to negative 4. So here's negative 4 right there. It's a solid. And it's all the y's that are less than. And that's how you would graph it as well. All right, number 16 is another evaluate problem. I have 7 minus 3. Now, S in this case is 3, so I'm going to replace that with a 3. Minus 3, and then T in this case is 7. All right, I'm going to do this one first. So 7 minus 9. And then negative 3 times 7 is minus 21. And now I'm just going to combine them. 7 minus 9 is negative 2, because I'm going left to right. And negative 2 minus negative 21 is a negative 23. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and minimize these. I can't do that, so I'm going to minimize that so I have room for number 17. Now, in this case, number 17 is parentheses R minus T times 2T plus 5. So I'm going to replace R and T. So now on this problem, I'm going to replace R and T. R in this case is a 4. T in this case is 7. Times 2, again, 7, t is 7, so that's times 7, and then plus 5. Okay? So I'm going to do order of operations in parentheses, so 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Now I have to do this parentheses. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. So negative 3 times 19 is a negative 57. On number 18, 19, you're going to evaluate. On 20 through 23, you're going to simplify. So you're not really solving anything. So number 18, I'm going to move this off to the side, minimize it just a little bit, and we're going to evaluate these expressions. So real quickly, on the first one, it's r to the third. R is 4 to the third power minus 10, and s in this case is negative 3, and we're going to square it, plus t in this case is 7, and we're going to square it. So we're going to do each one of these individually. 4 to the third power is 64, minus 10. Now negative 3 squared is a positive 9, and then 7 squared is 49. Now I'm going to still get rid of this one, so I get 64 minus 90 plus 49. And in this case, 64 minus 90, I'm going to do this one first because it's left to right. 64 minus 90, I believe, is negative 26. Bring down your plus 45. And negative 26 plus 45 is a positive 19. On number 19, it's 3. And then r in this case is 4. S in this case is negative 3, so minus 3 to the fourth power, minus r again, times s squared. So that's going to be negative 3 squared. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 to the fourth power is 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 4, and then negative 3 squared is positive 9. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. So 3 minus 36 is a negative 33. All right, now what I'm going to do is, let me minimize that a little bit. All right, now I'm going to do number 20. I don't have a lot of space, so I'm going to have to eliminate some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate all of these. Now on number 20, we're simplifying. We don't have to solve because there is no equal sign. So if I have negative 4 times a minus 6 plus 2a. In this case, I have to distribute. All right, so when I distribute here, I get negative 4a. Negative 4 times negative 6 is plus 24, and then plus 2a. I got to combine like terms. Now, this is not on opposite sides of an equal sign. Negative 4a plus 2a is a negative 2a, and just bring down your 24, and that's your answer. On number 21, okay, on number 21 is 3m minus 2 times 7m plus p plus 3. Now, I'm going to distribute this right here. So I get 3m minus 14m minus 2p plus 3. I'm going to combine like terms, which are the m's. So 3 minus 14 is negative 11m minus 2p plus 3. And that's my answer. I can't go any further. There's nothing else for me to combine. On number 22, on number 22 is negative 4, 3x minus 5 plus 9x plus 4. I'm going to distribute this first. I get negative 12x plus 20 plus 9x plus 4. I'm going to combine the x's, which is negative 3x. The 20 and the 4 is plus 24, and I'm going to leave it just like that.